beer. Sparkling, golden, pure, refreshing.
Oh, hey, now come on. Hang on now. Can't we just settle this over a pint? No. All right, then. Come on!
Chilled now, and Ingrid serves it in the traditional manner, from a pitcher with a garland of greenery. Mmm.
These guys find the kind of relaxation and release they need in a cold glass of beer. For them, only beer does it.
Grandpa's telling tales of yore. Bruce Q talks about comics more. Norm's got jokes that we adore. Hawk's our mascot, hear it roar. 3BeerMen drinking in the streams, laughing like it's no tomorrow. Hawk's loud score praising the bars, filled with joy, never sorrow. Grandpa's got his old school tricks, Bruce Q's latest adventure and more. Norm with laughs that'll mix, Hawk circles watch him soar. Beer cans clinking, stories unfold. Nights like these are pure gold. These memories bold, never sold. In twilight's glow time behold. Everyone needs a night like this, full of stories can't be missed. Simple joys, pure bliss. In each sip, there's a twist. Man drinking in the streams, laughing like there's no tomorrow. Hawks loud spark raising the bars, filled with joy, never sorrow. 3BeerMen drinking in the streams, laughing like there's no tomorrow. Hawks loud spark raising the bars, filled with joy, never sorrow. Grandpa's got his old school tricks, Bruce Q's latest adventure and more. Norm with laughs that'll mix, Hawk circles watch him soar. Beer cans clinking, stories unfold. Nights like these are pure gold. These memories bold, never sold. In twilight's glow time behold. Everyone needs a night like this, full of stories can't be missed. Simple joys, pure bliss. In each sip, there's a twist. In each sip, there's a twist.
And that's what everybody else gets for coming late.
Hey, welcome to 3BeerMen. I'm your host, the 3BeerMen. I'm Bruce Q. Wayne, and we're here tonight to have some fun, chill out, relax, and talk to you guys. So let's throw it out to the rest of the crew. How you doing there, Hawk?
I think I'm okay.
I hear
Let's we'll mute Hawk till we figure that out there.
Oh God!
Wow!
Oh God! Oh.
All right, let's throw it over to you, Norm. Hey, Norm.
Hello, Moto. And for some reason, I can't see myself on the stream. Maybe that's a setting I did, but you guys can see me, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That happened to me earlier on Thursday night. I froze and I couldn't see myself talking or moving. I was there.
So all right. I'll figure it out later. As long as you guys can see me. I could see myself down at the bottom, but I think there's a setting that I was messing with. All right. So how you doing? Do we talk about our beer, or do you just want to go back?
Go for it, Norm. Go for it. Tell us what you're drinking.
All right. I was at Trader Joe's the other day, and I picked up one of their brews that they have brew especially for them, which are actually a pretty reasonable price and a decent beer, which is actually like uh, hard to find a reasonably priced beer and a decent beer. This one I've had before on the show, maybe a year and a half ago. It's called the Drive Through Red, and it's I can't see my camera. I'll fix so I can't see if I'm showing it to you correctly. So tell me when it's in frame. I got
It's full.
Okay.
I got your full screen now.
Well, no, I can't see where.
Lift the beer up a little bit. Lift the beer up right there. Perfect.
You're good.
All right.
All right. A little bit.
I can't see
a Volkswagen bus on the front.
Yeah, there's a Volkswagen bus driving through redwood tree, which is a vacation my family took. Many summers would be like a day trip going to the redwoods, and we drive through the trees there because it's like a lot like when the road comes to a mountain, they make a tunnel. They just cut into the tree, and these trees are huge. So, and like I said,
I've actually driven through them too when I was shortly after Michelle and I had gotten married. My ex-wife, we had went to go visit her family that lived out there, and they took us to the redwood forest, and we drove through the trees. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, my sister lives up there, and so every time I went to see my sister, we'd ride through a couple. And it's really weird because like we went to the one of the redwood forests on where they was basically Endor, where they shot The Empire Strikes Back, and when we drove up to it, there was this like SUV parked next to one of the redwoods, and from a distance, I was like, "That's a small car," and it's like it was actually a regular sized car, and you could probably fit two more SUVs, one in front of it and one behind it, and there was a giant. It was just a giant tree.
Yep. And Rick Carmen wanted to know if that was beer or motor oil you had in the can.
Okay, now this is
Oh, it's a dark.
It's a red ale. It's a red ale.
It's amber. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's called the Drive Through Red. So it's a red ale from Trader Joe's, and like I said, Trader Joe's. Joseph Brower, I believe, is the name of their brewery that brew exclusively for Trader Joe's. And like I said, they're very reasonable prices. It's $6.99 a 6-pack. I mean, which is unheard of for a decent beer, anyway. So, the redwood trees. A lot of people also, when I'm up there, I'm told how the redwood trees get their water. A lot of people think they need 60 gallons of water to go through the trunk. It doesn't happen that way. They're usually in areas with low clouds, and they actually absorb the water from the fog and the clouds.
Right. The leaves usually absorb it.
Well, yeah, but the whole thing that's how come when they grow up to the clouds, they don't have to pump the water from the ground all the way up to the clouds. They just get the water from the clouds. And there's a lot of things I saw that were supposedly scientists that said they have to pump all the water, the 60 gallons of water, all the way to the top of the tree. That's not true. And these are supposed to be smart scientists, and I've debated with a couple of these smart scientists about that fact.
Did anybody stop and ask the trees?
Well, if you go there, they'll tell you that they get the water from the air, not the ground, because it's impossible to pump that much water to the top of the tree. It's just,
I don't know.
Logically impossible.
No.
Yeah, so. But if you have a Trader Joe's in your area, you find this one, and you like ambers or reds.
I do. You know what? Outside of stouts, amber's my second go-to. So I'm going to try that. There's a Trader Joe's right up the road from me.
Yeah, it's brewed especially. But Trader Joe's also do, it might be, it's done out of their San Jose brewery, I believe. So you might be able to get it at your Trader Joe's because it's exclusive to them. So.
Right. Very cool. All right. Let's throw it over to Hawk and see what he's drinking tonight. Hawk, what's up? Squawk.
Squawk. I got a weird feedback loop.
Well, we heard
Yeah,
it.
I had that too.
Well, can you still hear it? Because I'm hearing it on my end.
Okay.
No, we're
No,
not hearing it on your
you're
end.
clean here, so it's just there.
Well, I'm not clean over here. I'm going to reset everything after I get past this. I'm doing Jack and Coke because I have to at this point.
I don't blame you.
But
Been one of those days for
seriously,
me,
Norm.
for sure.
Yeah, it was a scramble there for a minute. But why can't it? Why can't pump water all the way up? I mean, it's doing it on a cellular level.
Yeah, well, you got to remember something, Hawk. Gavin Newsom won't allow the trees to pump their own water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the real problem.
Yeah, they went around it and just got it right from the clouds because that's not regulated yet. It's raining actually here today, and I think they got most of the fires 90% contained.
He's got mudslides on their bingo card.
Well, the rain helped with the fires, but not with the mudslides. Yep, that's true. I was just going to mention that. So,
damned if you do, damned if you don't in California.
Boy, I know that's right.
But yeah, it's actually not raining right now, but it was raining last night and this morning. So,
hey Norm, I'm
Yeah.
digging your foxhole pilled hat.
Oh yeah, that's Giuseppe made that. I got this a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen you wear it in a while. I have my Bruce Q. Wayne one that she made for me.
I don't need to wear it because it's usually too warm, but yeah, it's actually kind of chilly here today because we got the rain. So, yeah. So.
There you go. All right, Cosmic, what are you drinking, bro?
All right. Well, I am doing something a little different tonight. I saw this in the store when I walked in, and at first I thought, "Wait, am I in the grocery store rather than the beer store?" Because I saw this case right here, and I thought, "Hey, wait, that's cupcakes." As a matter of fact, that's my favorite kind of cupcakes. That's tasty cakes, which are something that you typically only get out here. Let me switch the view there. Something you only get out east here. And yeah, tasty cakes were my go-to. 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, a package of tasty cakes, and some Pringles were my brown bag lunch at school for a long time. So I couldn't resist trying this when I got it. So this is tasty cake, Tandy Cake Porter.
Candy cake porter. Look at that.
Yeah. And it is
that sounds
indeed a porter. The description on the box says, our tasty partnership with Tasty Cake returns in a second release backed by popular demand, inspired by peanut butter candy cakes, notes of rich chocolate, peanut butter filling, and light pound cake. Whip up into a smooth and silky porter.
I'm not a big fan of peanut butter beers, but I would try that one because it just sounds so good.
My dad
I said, that's a...
loved tasty cake. My dad it's from Philly. He loved tasty cake.
Yeah, it's a Philly thing. They're local to the Philly area.
I've actually had tasty cakes shipped to me every time my dad visited me in LA.
That's funny. When Mrs. Cause and I first moved to Pittsburgh back in the early 90s, you couldn't really get tasty cake in Pittsburgh either. But where we came from was closer to central Pennsylvania. So like I said, I grew up having it every day. Yeah. So every time we would go to Altoona, we would load the trunk of the car up with tasty cake and Middleswarth barbecue potato chips, which are something else you can't get on this side of the state.
there used to be a steak. There's quite a few of Philadelphia steak sandwich restaurants in California, and there was in Southern California there used to be one called South Street because that's where Pat's and Gino's is, and they used to import tasty cakes to have with your steak sandwich. I took my dad there, and he said that the meat they use here was too good. It wasn't the same. He said, "Yeah,
Yeah, right. It's too high quality.
yeah,
Indeed.
too high quality."
So yeah, tasty cake beer. I can smell the peanut butter and the chocolate before I even taste it. Oh yeah. Now, if you're not a fan of peanut butter or chocolate, or that with beer, you may not like it so much. But I I love it. I would have it with Pringles, and I would be in heaven.
There you go.
It,
That's a nice pairing, actually. I would take
Beer and chocolate cake is awesome.
I would
oh
take
yeah.
salty pretzels and I would stick them in my ho hos or my ding dongs and chomp on those.
Mm.
We had the devil dogs, and the ho hos and the ding dongs. That's what we got. But since we're talking about dessert beers tonight, since Cosmic's got one there, I pulled one out of my supply. This is a uh, Gates of Smorador Westbrook Brewing Company out of South Carolina. I don't even remember how long I've had this. It's been sitting underneath my desk with a bunch of other beers that I just keep in emergencies for when I need something new. And it says here malt beverage with natural and artificial flavors added. The scary part about this is that it's 11% ABV. So I'm going to be sipping this real slow if I'm going to be able to talk during the second half of the show, during the Bruce on the Loose segment. But it says here that s'mores inspired imperial stout brewed with marshmallows, graham crackers, cocoa nibs, and cinnamon. So I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. So I broke out my American flag glass again. Since I'm so patriotic and I'm a big Trump fan these days, well, let's see. Hold on a second. There we go. You see him in the background. You see him in the background over there. There we go. My Donald Trump mask with my Make America Great Again hat and my Joe Biden the Clown dartboard. So let's pour this the right way this time, not let it get too heady. And hello to Magatic out there. We're going to get to the chats in a minute, but I just want to taste this.
He's in all of them, by the way.
Yeah, I see that. It looks like he's in five of six of them.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little heady, but I thought I poured it properly. Let's see. Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, the cinnamon right away. I taste that on the back end, but you taste the marshmallows almost immediately when you smell it. And the chocolate nibs also. And the graham cracker. It's all there. It's really, wow, this is really good. Gates of Smorador. Gates of Smorador from Westbrook Brewing Company in South Carolina for anybody that's interested in a really delicious tasting dessert beer stout. Wow. Okay. This is going to be deadly tonight, so I'm going to just put it aside and nurse it. And let's do our shout outs while I pour a little bit more in here and try and drain the can.
Yeah, let's start out with a thanks to Zoso Dude for 555 gold pills.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you out there.
Yeah.
I owe you a phone call. I got to get a hold of you.
And in Odyssey and Rumble, the only one out there is Magatic from the firehouse. So he's keeping us fire safe over there. But don't be afraid to hit that fire over there in Odyssey. So that's because we have it under control. I can see the YouTube chat. We got Woody M. We got Bloodline Josh Perry. I don't think I've. Are we?
Welcome aboard. I recognize you from the Madness chats, and good to see you.
Yeah. So, do we? Is Magatic in Twitch? I never bring that one up anymore.
Yes, that was actually the one I brought up by accident to start with, because I can't really tell which one is which. Looking at the, there's a deficiency in the chat manager here in EV Mux that I can't really see where they're coming from until I click on it. So that's from YouTube.
All right. Well,
and that's from X, and that's from Twitch, and that's from Rumble.
and,
So,
and if you guys didn't know we were on all these channels, at least go check us out. Give us a like or a thumbs up or whatever they have over there, and a follow if you have the account over there. But on YouTube, we're under the Madness Comic Network, as we mentioned before. So check them out too,
indeed,
because they have plenty of content to check out. So
lots of really cool pop culture content. They have drawing shows. They have all kinds of crazy stuff, and we're trying to get Pops onto the Pilled Foxhole Squares. So let's see what happens there.
indeed. And yeah, shout out, since we're talking about Foxhole Squares and we're moving on to D Live. I will start out with a congratulations to our D Live fan TL Spud, winner of the Foxhole Squares last night.
and that's on Zozo Dude's channel.
No, it's Coffee Talk with Sandra on the Pilled, Pilled.net, but Zozo Dude is the host.
Yeah, okay.
How come this is the first I'm hearing of this?
And a shout out to Spuds. TL Spuds was also singled out on Method's show earlier this week. I think it was Friday's show. So good for you, TL Spud. Way to go, brother. Way to go.
Indeed. And joining TL Spud over in the D Live tonight is Val Kimber, John Rogers, and Willie Fixit, and Bad Zoot. Those were the first ones in tonight. Our loyal audience, as always, Rick Carmen, always good to see you. Peggy Dancer.
Fellow Long Islander, Rick Carmen, out here with me on the island.
Indeed. Peggy Dancer. Let's see who's next. Artist 61. Good to see you, Steph.
Hey,
we got
Steph.
a follow. We got a follow from Poo5555. That's Poo with a P-O-O. So shout out if you're actually watching or if you're just adding follows to your list there. Rick Carmen says Islanders, thumbs up.
Amen.
Indeed. And we've got Amethyst Cat, and we've already shown Magatic.
Several times, actually.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Let's go over to the Pilled Foxhole, which I'm wearing this hat. Janice Eppy made this hat, and I got this a number of years ago. I think she still makes them, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I lost my original Bruce Q. Wayne hat, so I had to have her make me another one. And then, 6 weeks ago, I found it again.
So, well, now you've got two. So
yeah, you got a backup. Yeah, I think Batman had more than one suit, so you can have more than one hat.
More than one hat. Well, that's hats.
All right, the first one in the Pill Chat today was Mr. Tizo. Good to see you. And if you could just go, I know you have either a Rumble or a Odyssey account because I've seen you in those chats on other shows. So go give us a like over there if you don't mind. And our friend Spazzo Yeti was the first one after streaming. And then we got Willie Fixit. Willie, I'm sorry I didn't pick up your call the other day or didn't call you back. I owe you a phone call. But
I see Woody M saying hello, but I don't know what platform he's on.
He's on YouTube.
He's one of the Madness.
Yeah, he's on Madness. And then we have Magatic, of course, keeping us fire safe over there. And then we have Zozo Dude, who gifted us 555 gold pills. And
I think Zozo Dude's trying to give Just Jim a run for his money.
Yeah. That was also the address. It was 5555 was the address I used to work at, and Zozo did work there before I did. Milrose Avenue. That was that's the address of Paramount Pictures. Um, so Memer the rememberer gift said, "Good to see you, boys, and good to see you, Memer." And then Music Man 75. So it's all his great stickers. He has some,
Love Music Man 75 in the morning.
yeah,
I
and he
wake
has a
up and he's usually
great
gone.
sticker collection. By the way, he's uploaded a lot of really great stickers.
Yeah,
To
sure has. Woody M says he's connecting to Odyssey right now. Thank
mhm,
you, Woody. Appreciate you, brother.
mhm.
Get us in there with a like, a subscribe, a ring the
Yeah,
bell, ding that dong, a
yeah,
thumbs up, whatever you got to do. Make sure
like
we get some algorithms moving over there.
light that fire over there for us to keep Magnetic on his toes, because yeah, the fire is the good sign, the splat is the bad sign. So don't hit the splat, hit the fire.
Is
So,
that what it is? A fire or a splat?
yeah,
That's funny. I didn't realize that.
yeah,
I
that's
don't. I've never been able to get on Odyssey.
uh,
That's what happens when you're an analog man.
mhm.
Odyssey had a weird glitch for a couple weeks there. I wasn't getting anything at all new in my feed.
They've been going through some,
Yeah,
Growing
I
pain.
know, and they're switching the
yeah,
payment system. They're getting off of Stripe and going to
yeah,
crypto for payments, and
yeah. No,
yeah,
they got. This is not the first time they got called out for using crypto, and then they went over to Stripe, and now they're going back to crypto because they
right.
got they got banned from Stripe. So it's like,
How do you get
But
banned from
that
something like that? It's a payment service, isn't it?
a lot of people get banned from payment service. A lot of
yeah,
our friends got banned from PayPal.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, yeah,
That's true. Yeah, Zach was one of the first to get knocked off PayPal.
yeah.
yeah.
Close to
PayPal
28.
is pretty notorious. You got to dance a careful dance with them.
Well, now Stripe is kind of doing the same thing. Well, Odyssey's always been under kind of scrupule because they of their whole library coin and
Yeah,
all that.
exactly.
Yeah,
The whole blockchain association from the
yeah,
start. Yep.
yeah.
All right. You learned something new. All right. What are we talking about today, gentlemen? This
All
first
right.
half of the show.
Well, we're going
Let's get into
to not that there wasn't a ton of news this week, because there certainly was. A lot has transpired in the last 7 days, but we're going to save most of that for the second half tonight after we drop YouTube, so that we don't inadvertently hurt the ghost of Susan Wojcicki's feelings, or get ourselves branded with the dreaded "find out more about Electoral College decides elections" banner that's been on every single YouTube video that has the word Trump in it for the last 2 months now. So we're going to go ahead and push that part of the conversation off to the second half of the show.
Why not just learn about Electoral College in your civics class or your fifth grade? Or go watch like something like how I learned about it on Schoolhouse Rock when I was like a kid.
Yeah, really.
It's like it's not that difficult.
Indeed. So anyway, so the only thing that I have for our traditional This Week in Beer segment was just a quick follow-up on something we discussed last week, which was my tinfoil hat theory that the reason why they made it so that you can't remove the batteries from cell phones anymore is so that they can never be turned off. And I had an interesting message pop up on my new phone. I mentioned last week that I got a new phone, and I had an interesting message pop up on the phone when the battery got low. Sorry for the crappy quality. I couldn't screenshot this message, and so I had to use another camera to take a picture of the camera, but I kind of blew the message up. And the message says, find phone if battery runs low. If this phone runs out of battery or is powered off, The Find My Device network can locate it for several hours. Now, how exactly does that work if the phone is off?
Well, we used to like
It's
turn
not
off
off is the answer. And even when the battery says it's dead, the battery is not completely dead. That's the bottom line. The phone is still working. And basically, first and foremost, this says, do not assume that turning off your phone ever gives you any degree of privacy, because it doesn't. Obviously, if the Find Your Phone network can find your phone for several hours after it's been turned off, I'm going to say it can do other things with your phone for several hours after your phone's been turned off, or maybe even longer than that.
But that was a nice disclaimer without claiming it was a disclaimer. I think they should put disclaimer on there just to tell you it's a disclaimer. And it's like, I wonder what the legal thing, because they told you. So that's technically a disclaimer that it
Yeah,
could be. And
it is.
but
And I think
legally, if they didn't label
I
it as a
personally,
disclaimer,
I personally think it should have been accompanied with an advertisement for Faraday bags. I think they would sell 1 million if they could figure out how to sneak an ad for Faraday bags in there.
well, when I used to troubleshoot computers, there are something called capacitors on computer boards that are basically they used to only hold it for, seconds. Like if you shut down the computer for a minute, it would be good to say that you shut down all the programs
yeah.
and drain the
Well,
capacitors.
the reason,
To drain the capacitor, it sounds like the capacitors are not being drained. So
yeah, well, that's the amount of electricity needed to run things is so minuscule now that things can continue to run. I mean, literally, LEDs will light up now with almost light up on one wire, almost.
yeah.
They use so little current that they can almost light up on the current that the other leg bleeds off into the air. It's
And you'd be amazed how if you switch your house to LED lighting from like either condense or even the fluorescent lighting, you'd be amazed at how much your electric bill will drop from that alone.
Well, you know what I was just going to say? I was just going to say, change all the lighting in your house from incandescent to LED, and you'll be absolutely amazed in a year's time how much your electricity bill didn't drop.
Yeah, well, that's true because
because it never seems to go down.
Yeah, on some of those, I think there's some
we're using
other
all this energy efficient stuff, and now it still costs just as much.
I think there's some other components they might put in those lighting.
It's called a power factor, which means that each light bulb has to convert from AC to DC, so you burn up energy just doing that.
I almost wore my AC/DC shirt. I should have.
So I want to roll back for a second there, Cosmic. Who sent you that text message? Was it your
Google?
Oh, it was Google.
The phone itself popped up the message when the battery got low.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, they monitor everything we do and say. So, I mean, they call them smartphones because they make us dumber. Okay. So,
only if you give in to that.
That was really ironic timing, considering that just last week we talked about my harebrained theory of why they won't let you take the battery out, and lo and behold,
it hit you up anyway.
Well, it basically confirmed my theory by saying I can still find your phone even if the battery's dead.
And is that because is there a backup reservoir on the battery, or is there a
I think it is. I think that's what it is.
I don't think it's a capacitor. I don't think capacitor technology has gotten that far yet. But I think it's a backup.
A decent sized supercapacitor could hold up a small wireless device for a while. As a matter of fact, it's funny. Val Kimber and I were just having a discussion on capacitors the other day. Yeah. He was asking for some information, and I go back to the days when they called capacitors condensers. That's like 1930s radios, tube type equipment. So
Yeah,
Cosmic,
they're rated in microfarads.
yeah.
I have one question for you, Cosmic. When are
Yeah.
you going to create your own flux capacitor?
Yeah.
Well, you need to get like some sort of you need a lightning bolt or lightning rod or a Mr. Fusion to power that, don't you?
I'm sure Cosmic can create his own Mr. Fusion.
Yeah.
Indeed. And yes,
Oh,
Spazzo
oh,
Yeti just pointed out RFID doesn't require a battery. Things use so little power nowadays that they might be able to suck enough power just out of the stray RF radiation in the air and power themselves off of that.
Wow.
Like
I mean,
RFID.
Yes.
yeah. Look
That
up.
used to be a problem, actually.
I tried to build a trickle charger for my phone once that actually took that power and tried to charge your phone. And have you looked into trickle chargers, Cosmic? Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
I
Yeah,
know a lot about charging and power and
yeah,
PD
yeah.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
That would basically draw radio waves, like all the leftover
hmm
stuff from the air to charge your phone. I couldn't find one that I couldn't find anything a diagram that would like do it more than 5 seconds per whatever, and it would take you 2 weeks to charge your phone. But
So can you draw energy off of UHF?
yeah, that basically took everything.
Yeah, you can draw energy
Yeah,
off of any stray RF, and you could
yeah,
build a box the size of a lunchbox that is powerful enough to charge a phone if you happen to live near a couple of 12,000 volt feeder or overhead lines. You know, the big high voltage overhead lines.
yeah. The
You can just walk
bleeding.
over to the fence next to those and charge your phone right off the air.
Yeah.
The bleed from those lines alone is what actually I have video of the that's what is talked about what started the fire here. The but not what kept the fire going. According to Edison, we didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world was turning. But yeah, never mind. So there's a lawsuit going on right about that. But yeah,
All right.
the bleed from those lines alone, they're not insulated well enough.
It's a magnetic thing,
Yeah,
no insulation.
yeah,
Most of those big overhead wires, and Hawk can confirm this, aren't insulated at all.
yeah,
They're bare wire.
yeah. You don't want to pee on those hawks if you land. You'd be fine because you're not grounded, hawk. But if you pee on those
Yeah, the
wires,
birds land on the power wires, on the bare power wires all the time. It's no problem at all because you don't land
well,
across
un,
two
un,
wires.
unless they pee, because I saw a pigeon die because in the rain because it landed on the wire. And I don't know how it died, but it just fell off the wire as soon as it landed on it. Weird.
I don't know. Well, we lost Hawk again, unfortunately. He's
Um,
having.
uh,
Oh, there he
yeah,
is. He's back.
stay away from the third wire or the third rail.
Stay away from the third rail. Yeah.
Mm. I'm just shutting down my headset. I'm just gonna go off speaker. I'm still getting the feedback. God damn it.
We're hearing you.
Let's set up a test sometime. The good news is, Hawk, is that the audience is hearing you without problem. You're coming through loud and clear and without any echoes or anything like that.
I'm
And
sure in StreamYard it would have been a problem.
Well, it's giving me a feedback though, so it's kind of
Yeah.
distracting when I'm trying to talk.
yeah, I've had some weird stuff happening with EV Mux. I had the exact same thing that happened to Bruce last week happen to Deepak when I was doing a session with her. We weren't streaming at the time, but she had the exact same thing. She hit something, and it caused her screen to minimize. And when it came back, she couldn't hear me anymore. It was just exactly what Bruce had. It was exactly the same thing where whatever she did, and we couldn't figure out what she did. If we could, I could tell her not to do it, and tell Bruce not to do it again.
You know
And
what?
I think Bruce might have frozen, so he might have done it again.
That could be related to a third party applicant, because when I first joined the stream today, that was related to a third party stream. I had to our app. I had to install on my computer that took over my audio, and I luckily I figured that out. Do you remember when I first joined the stream?
Oh, right.
Yeah. Because of it was Microsoft Teams, by the way, and they suck.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
There you are, Bruce.
You can hear me, but you can't see me. I didn't touch.
We can see your.
Anything. I didn't touch anything, and it went blank.
Huh? You're frozen now, but at least we still have the audio. So
it's playing in picture, but
and you didn't freeze with a funny look or anything. So
you're not. You have your eyes open and you're staring right at the camera. It's good.
That's a good sign. So
you're not like talking with your
weird.
eyes closed, and your mustache looks great. So
thank you. Yeah, I've been playing with it all night because I feel like it's out of whack. But I wanted to say hello to the Don because he just jumped in the chats and he wanted to say hello this evening. So I said hello, Don. And then Deepak Apocalypse? Is that Deepak Shakur?
No. That is.
Wow. Oh,
that's what I thought. Thank you, Deepak. Yes, I froze in a good position, I guess. It's so bizarre. I can't figure out how to undo what it just did to me.
And earlier, Spazzo Yeti said his nice dartboard. I didn't mention that, but Spaz did say nice dartboard. And that's still in the frame, so that's good.
Yep.
And if you're ever like a stepfather or okay, my friend Todd, his mom was dating a guy, and for Christmas the guy gave him a dartboard. Of course, he cut out the guy's face and put it on the dartboard. Are you dumb? And this guy was kind of Alex Trebek, actually. She was dating, but yeah, Alex Trebek, that you. Idiot. Yeah. But yeah.
All right.
Don't do that. Don't give your girlfriend or your son, don't give them a dartboard. So it's just a dumb gift. So.
Yeah, gift him a gun. What the heck?
I just got an order of ammo in today. I couldn't pick up the box, so that gives you an idea of how much ammo I buy at a time.
Hey, Bruce,
I had to wheel it in on a dolly.
Yeah, what's up?
Bruce, maybe you have to drain the capacitors of your phone to get it to work.
I'm on my tablet. I'm on my computer.
Okay, well, no, I'm just kidding.
I know you busted my balls. I know.
No, I'm just kidding about what we're talking about. It's like it's funny how the phone could do all this stuff when it's off, but it can't do a stream with Bruce while it's on.
This is ridiculous. I can't even. Buck's got reverb in his ear, and I've got a blank screen on my laptop. Mm-hmm. And last week with Christie's show, I was freezing on camera, and on my phone, but it looked, you guys were seeing me, so I don't know. It was weird.
And last week, my second camera wouldn't work. My second camera is the one that I use to bring in the wheel of conspiracy, and my second camera wouldn't come up, so it kept bringing up my face. So every time I would bring up the wheel of conspiracy, it's just a big round picture of my avatar.
Right, exactly.
Somebody said spin Cosmac instead.
That's funny. This is weird.
Isn't that Alex Crawley you have on that show as a wheel of conspiracy? Or am I thinking of something else? What does the wheel of conspiracy look like on that show? I thought it was Alex Crawley.
Let me see if it will show up here. So if I put that in, does that show up? Can you guys see it?
Yeah, isn't that Isn't it Alex Crawley on the wheel?
Is that who that is? I don't know.
Mr. Crowley, they say you speak to the dead. It looks like him. I don't know.
That's yeah, that's the wheel. I'm not going to spin it because that belongs to creative chaos.
It's already
spinning. That's a creative. Well, no, spinning the wheel actually will make it land on something and pick a subject.
Isn't that?
And it's funny because one of the topics on here is it just went past Tataria. And it's really funny because Hawk and I were just talking about that earlier today about a topic that we might cover here on the show here in a series of videos coming up.
I was looking for my book about that whole subject, and I can't find it right now. But I have a book on that subject. Called Fact or Science or something like that. It's by I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say Anthony.
Well, I think it's going to be a really interesting series, and we're going to start from the very beginning because I am also educating myself from scratch on the topic. So, and TL says, I watch a lot of Tataria mud flood stuff. Well, mud flood is topic number 1. Well, I think it might be topic number 1. I'm not sure. But, Hawk? I'm guessing he's having audio issues again.
Yeah. Do me a favor, Cosmic. Could you make me full screen for 1 second? I want to try something. Just make me full screen for 1 minute.
All right. You're blown up.
Okay, that's the avatar.
Right, camera went off.
And that's... No, I'm still freeze framed.
Yeah, I think you would probably have to go into settings in EVMux and change your camera, or come out and come back in and reselect the camera again because the camera has gotten disconnected from EVMux.
Yeah, all right.
Or, like I said, you could just keep that pose until intermission.
I'm good. I'm good. Just the way we are. Screw it. Fuck it. I'm done. You guys can see me. You can't see me picking my nose. You can't see me drinking my beer, but you can see an image of me, and that's good enough.
Yeah. No, you actually picked a really good, except for your distant look in your eyes. You kind of look like depressed, but.
Yeah, I wasn't smiling when the camera was
yeah. No, you have this distant look in your eyes. But no, it's fine.
All right,
it's better than a lot of the other frozen screenshots because usually they're like.
Yeah, usually you end up in some weird.
Yeah, I've caught Dilly on some screenshots where his mouth is like gaping and his tongue is, you see his uvula in the back of his throat.
No, it looks like any government. It looks like a government issued ID or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
That.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or not quite like a mud shot because but
too funny. All right. So
all right. Well, to catch the next few minutes until we get to intermission, I actually did a cooking segment for this week. Hawk did one too, if he's able to get straightened out. I don't think it's anything Hawk has any control over, though. I think it's EVMux and bandwidth and.
He's in Alaska too, or no, he's no longer in Alaska. I think he's somewhere else, but he's usually in the outskirts. He's flying around. His signal when he's flying probably goes in and out.
Indeed. So yeah, I'm going to at the risk of starting a fire or two here, going to do a little cooking in the kitchen tonight. And
it's okay. We have Magatic here.
We have Magatic to help us out there
with the fire.
We're actually going to mix up our cooking in the kitchen, cause in the kitchen tonight with a little bird is the word, because what I'm doing tonight is a technique that I don't think I've done here on the show before. and it's called sous vide or sous vide if you're not French, but it's sous vide.
Is that foul?
Well, that particular picture is,
Okay.
but what I'm going to sous vide is going to be this guy right here, which is a nice big fat fillet. And that's because I felt like, as Val slipped, I had a birthday this week. So I decided to make myself a birthday steak.
Well, happy birthday. I I was say anything to you today. Happy birthday.
So I went down to the store. Actually, I should admit, Mrs. Cos went down to the store. She couldn't find a decent steak in the package, so she went back to the butcher's cabinet and she asked the lady to cut a nice decent one, and so that's my birthday steak in its starting format there.
I
About an
was
inch
going to
and a half.
surprise. I was going to surprise you on the show tonight, but I decided not to do that to you. But happy birthday,
And
Kaz. Happy birthday.
thanks. Indeed. And yeah, so that's about an inch and a half thick, uh, three quarters of a pound. It's like Mrs. Cos doesn't know where to draw the line. So what the heck? And this is actually a little secret that I discovered when I first moved to Pittsburgh in the early 1990s. This is called the colony sauce.
That was before
And
the turn of the century, right?
yeah,
All right.
something like that. It's made from an original recipe from the Colony Restaurant here in Pittsburgh, which is a fairly famous steakhouse that had been around since the 1950s. Alas, the Colony is no longer around. It's been closed for a long time now. I couldn't find exactly when it closed, but I did find an article about a new tenant moving into the Colony restaurant space dated 2013. So it must have been sometime before that. But the company that they contracted to bottle their sauce for them in Punxsutawney, where Punxsutawney Phil lives, that company still exists and they still sell the sauce. So I can still get the sauce. I don't know if they pay anyone a royalty for making it anymore or not, but
Or do they just say to the lawyers it doesn't mean that colony?
yeah, right. It's a different colony now.
Yeah.
Well, that colony's not around to sue them for the use of the name or for non-payment of the royalties. So anyway, the trick to sous vide is to start out by vacuum packing what you are going to sous vide, what you want to cook. So you actually cook it vacuum packed. So this is my old, old faithful. You can tell by the scuffs on it. Food Saver vacuum package machine, and so I'm going to take a vacuum bag here, and I'm going to marinate the steak in some colony sauce, and I'm going to put it in the bag, and then I'm going to vacuum pack. This is vacuum packing. So the vacuum machine actually sucks all the air out of the bag. This is a really good preserving method too. You can use this to vacuum pack things that you're going to put in the freezer if you buy bulk meat or whatever. But in this particular case, I vacuum sealed the steak, and that's what it looks like vacuum sealed. Yeah,
It kind of reminded me of those old infomercials where you can vacuum pack your linens and
yeah.
shove them under the bed. You took the vacuum, you put it to the attachment on the thing, and you could actually vacuum pack comforters. So they're
Yeah, to make all your winter stuff fit under the bed.
yeah.
Exactly. I remember those. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, there's the vacuum pack bag. And then what we're going to do is take a pan, and that thing you see sticking out of the pan is called a sous vide stick. And what that is basically I should have taken a picture of one, but that's basically a tool that clips to the side of the pan, and the pan is full of water there, and you can preset what you want. In this particular case, I have the temperature preset to 130 degrees. So that's going to heat the water to 130 degrees, and it's going to keep it at that temperature.
Like what do you call it? Cruise control for.
Yeah, exactly. So there is my vacuum packed steak clipped to the side of the pan just to keep it from floating around too much at random and keep it upright. And sitting in there. And now, believe it or not, I'm going to turn that sous vide stick on, and I am going to let that steak sit there for the next 2 hours. Can you imagine cooking a steak for 2 hours and having it still be medium rare? But that's how sous vide works.
It's like a crock pot for just the meat, not the sauce. I mean, isn't that how crock pots work? But you put sauce and stuff in there, and
it might be like that, except the food is not touching the hot water at all. Remember, the food is vacuum packed.
Well, that's
so
what
it's
I mean.
Surrounded by the hot water. It's just like cooking in hot air, except it's cooking in hot water instead. And 130 degrees happens to be medium rare. That will be nice and pink, just almost red on the inside. And I could have done it at 127 or 128 degrees and gotten it actually rare. But I happen to like medium rare. That's my preferred doneness. But the awesome thing about this, when you try to cook a steak on the stove, it is like a nightmare to get it just to exactly the right doneness. I mean, it just depends on the heat of the pan. If you get the pan too hot, it sears on the outside, doesn't cook on the inside. It's just a nightmare. With this, I put it in and I just let it go. And I can put it in there for 2 hours. I can leave it in there for 3 hours, even 4 hours, and it won't hurt it. You can't overcook it in a sous vide, and it won't get any more done. It'll still be medium rare.
You know what?
Cool.
I have an air fryer. I've been trying to mess around with this with different things, like with my air fryer grill. And this sounds like better. This sounds like cooking in outer space. This is the way the astronauts are going to do it. I'm pretty sure when they go to Mars.
It is pretty different. So, so anyway, while that was going, and in fact, about an hour after this had been going for about an hour and a half already, I went ahead and got the ingredients together for some mushrooms and onions, which always goes really good with a steak. As a matter of fact, I don't like a lot of onions, so you can see I have just a few onion strips that I'm going to throw in there, and I'm going to brown those guys off and get them real nice and well done. And then I'm going to put some sliced mushrooms in there. I got lazy this time and bought sliced mushrooms. You should buy fresh mushrooms and slice them yourself, but I got a little bit lazy. And then what happens with mushrooms is an interesting thing. You see how full that pan is. That pan is actually heaping full with mushrooms, but as they cook, you can see the water comes out of the mushrooms. You can see all that sizzling. I didn't add any liquid at all to this pan. All of that sizzling that you see down there in the bottom of the pan is coming out of the mushrooms. That's liquid that has come out of the mushrooms. So
mushroom sauce. But do you like garlic, or do you have something against garlic?
Oh, you'll see garlic in here. That's next.
All right. I only add that to,
the onions are
okay. I only add that
nice and cooked.
Ward off the vampires and werewolves.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when I put the mushrooms in, I salted and peppered, and the salt is for a specific reason. The salt helps draw the moisture out of the mushrooms. So it's part of the cooking process as well as the flavoring. So that's pretty important. So then once they're cooked down a little bit, I add some butter in there and cook them up in the butter a little bit, and some soy sauce and some white wine. And then to Norm's point, what I forgot to show you here is adding some freshly chopped, or in my case, freshly crushed garlic, and some freshly picked thyme. So I took some thyme leaves and threw them in there, and that's what it looks like all put together.
Yep. And it keeps away the werewolves and the vampires too. That's a double thing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And then there's the steak coming out of the sous vide after roughly 2 hours. And there's a channel on YouTube you can follow called Sous Vide Everything. It's run by a fellow by the name of Guga Foods, Guga. And usually at this point in the sous vide, he pulls it out and it looks kind of gray and ugly like this. And he says, "It don't look too good right now, but just wait." And then he breaks out a big giant blowtorch and proceeds to sear it off with a blowtorch. But I'm not going to sear it off with a blowtorch. I'm going to sear it off the more traditional way with a grill pan. And so little quick sear there. And you see I get some nice grill marks on there. That's literally 30 seconds. That pan is so hot, that's 30 seconds, and then half a turn and 30 seconds, and then flip it over and another minute. And you can see the liquid in there is actually a little bit of butter that I threw in there with it, that I basted the steak with and put the rest over with when it was done. And there is my birthday dinner. So there it is.
That looks absolutely delicious, but I'm not a big mushroom fan. I don't like eating mushrooms, but I do drink mushrooms, so go figure.
Indeed.
It's a texture. I can understand that because I used to have a weird
it's texture. I can't eat squid and I can't eat mushrooms.
Yeah, no, I used to have a weird thing like that. I got over it, but Kitty still has that little texture, squishy, little spongy. I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird because I can't eat vegetables for that same reason,
Yeah.
and don't eat vegetables and most fruits for that same reason. I don't like the texture. I cannot eat an apple with the skin on to save my life. I will gag if I try to eat an apple with skin on. But for some reason, mushrooms don't bother me. So anyway, and I had that with the last leftover bottle of sangria that I had called the Dawn Perignon from election night. So that was.
Yeah, Woody's.
right.
Woody wants to get himself one of those gadgets. So what's
the
it called?
sous
A sous vide.
Sous vide. Yes, that
and
was
you basically boil your steak.
No,
yeah.
Vacuum. It's not instantly. You vacuum pack. Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, you vacuum pack it so it's not touching the water. So you're not boiling the steak to the extent that if you boiled a vegetable or you boiled, sous vide is fantastic for vegetables. If you boil vegetables, vacuum pack and sous vide instead. They will be so much better. They'll be crisper. They won't be all soggy like they get from being boiled.
Right.
Not that I eat vegetables, but it's a fantastic technique. If you're interested, like I said, go to YouTube and look for Sous Vide Everything. I'll put that slide up once more so you can see it. SOUSVIDE, Sous Vide Everything. Guga, you'll recognize Guga as soon as you see him. He is a great guy. He's Brazilian, and he's a hoot to watch. And he loves his picanha steak too.
Yeah,
so.
He's funny. He's a crazy chef too.
He is. All right, well, that brings us to the midpoint of the show. I have been running a streamer here at the bottom of the show, warning everybody over on YouTube, and we do actually have a decent following over on YouTube tonight, that we are going to end the show there and encourage everybody to come over to the pilled, pilled.net, or go to 3beermen.tv in your browser, 3beermen.tv, the number 3beermen.tv, and pick any of the 6 streaming services that we have listed there, anything but YouTube, because we're going to have to let YouTube go for tonight, because in the second half of the show, we're going to talk about things that might hurt YouTube's fifis. So with that, I am going to start the intermission and end the broadcast. We will be back in 5 minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.